The grill? Y'all sick as fuck. We ain't even built like this as a people.
Right.
Boy, boy, boy. Man, I can't even say what needs to happen to these two because they'll take my account. Um,
Welcome back to Real Talk Corner. I'm your host, Ariana, the Quantum Healer, and my co host, Bella, is in the building. So, we got some more juicy shit for you guys. We actually got some tragic shit today, though. Man, we actually got some tragic shit today. I was like looking at some of them, like, man, this shit is crazy. But it's what's going on right now, and it's what's being talked about. So, why not, right? This next one was crazy as fuck. The mother daughter duo that killed grandma.
Hmm.
I was like, I know that people are crazy as shit these days, but what the fuck is really going on out here?
Yeah, this shit is to me dynamic. This is some extra shit.
Like,
Like,
mom and daughter, like, I know people can piss you off, but what did grandma do? What did grandma do? That y'all was like, not only we gonna kill her, we gonna chop her ass up and barbecue her. Now I don't know if they actually fed her to anybody because that would be really fucked up if they did. But
but
it's
just the fact that if they did grill her, like I said, that's a whole
right.
nother level
Grilling
of
grandma.
shit. That's not no human
No.
mindset. Like,
And
that's
look
some
at them.
other shit.
They both look scary as fuck. They look deranged as shit. Y'all listen to the story. It's shit crazy.
these bitches done barbecued their grandmama. Ain't nobody gonna talk about it. What the fuck? How sick? How sick is this? How mad does your grandmama make you to where you want to eat her ribs? It's one thing to throw some slabs on the grill, but you threw your grandmama on the grill? Y'all sick as fuck. We ain't even built like this as a people.
Right.
Boy, boy, boy. Man, I can't even say what needs to happen to these two because they'll take my account. Um, but y'all definitely need to be tickled, if you know what I mean. Dismembered your grandmama. How over what? What was the argument about? Was the potato salad not right? What
Mm, mm,
what
mm.
would make you go to these lengths to cut your grandmama up and throw on the grill? Did you use lighter fluid, charcoal? Boy, we are really failing as a society. This is this is really gruesome. Please don't flag my account for this. I'm just talking about what I'm seeing. This is what happened.
It's so true. It's
Hmm.
some as fuck. Like, what? When would there ever be an argument that's like, not only did she die during this, and we don't know because I didn't go and do any research to see what happened, but no, she died. One of y'all killed her, if not both of y'all, and then the other one was the accomplice.
Right. To even agree to
Dismember,
say, let's kill her, but not only kill her, let's cut her up and put her on the grill.
cut
Like,
her
what
up.
the fuck?
So y'all just cutting pieces. Like, let me cut her foot off real quick. If you guys have seen any scary movie or crazy psycho movie, you know what cutting up something entails.
Exactly.
So we just cutting bodies up and then like, what should we do with it? Oh, we have a barbecue grill. Wait, what the fuck?
Like, not once did you realize this was your grandmother. Look what you did. Like, no remorse,
I hope
no.
the story come out that that lady, the grandma, was this demon, and they was just saving themselves because if that lady wasn't a demon and y'all felt for your life where you just had to destroy her body and burn the shit out
Right.
of her crazy ass, I don't think I could be able to handle the excuse behind that. I'm definitely gonna go look and see if there's more to it, y'all, so we can see, because I can't think of an argument that would have took it that far,
Right.
to the point of, okay, we gonna cut her up into pieces and barbecue her. I'm curious to know, what did they do with her after that? So you barbecue, what the fuck did y'all do?
Right. We definitely got to find out, because I want to know what happened. Like, how did they find out they murdered her and then put her on? Did they tell somebody? What was, how did they find out that that's what they did after? Like, that's just so sick. Like I said, that's a whole nother level. That ain't.
That part. Right now they're accused. It's still accused. I don't know. Let's watch. Pull up something. Let's watch a little bit more of it, because I can't go to bed without knowing a little bit more, y'all. I gotta know something. Let's see. So, a woman and her daughter, who are accused of murdering the woman's mother, allegedly dismembered and grilled her, according to the court documents obtained by WTOP. The Prince George's County Police Department said it arrested Candace, 44, and Celia, 19, for killing Margaret Craig, 71. Margaret better been crazy as fuck, y'all, because I don't know if I'd be able to. And they probably got the sweet granny's picture and shit. Let's see.
Take you out to Prince George's County in Maryland. Of course, we're following a story there, and I want to put a tweet from our Fox 5 team, as the Maryland mother and daughter have been charged in the murder of 71-year-old grandmother. Police say they found human remains in a trash bags in the basement and a chainsaw. They both appeared in a Prince George's County courtroom this afternoon at 1:15 p.m. Eastern. Of course, following this very closely here on Live Now from Fox, as authorities say a mother and her daughter have been charged in connection with murdering the family's grandmother. Police have charged 44-year-old Candace Craig in second-degree murder. Her 19-year-old daughter is also charged with accessory after the fact. Let's take you out to some remarks here, live, raw, and unfiltered, on Live Now from Fox.
Yeah, what can you say as far as what happened at the hearings today? No bond status. I missed part of it. Was it said that all of the victim and the two defendants lived all together?
So the victim and we believe that the victim and the two defendants were all connected to the house in some way. Obviously, they were all related. And today, the two defendants were held without bond in this case.
And do we know how she actually died at this point?
At this point, that is still under investigation. The ME is involved, and hopefully we'll have a cause of death shortly.
Is that something that can be determined with a body that mutilated, or is that
with the extent of the injuries, with the dismemberment, it is going to be very difficult. I think that the ME's office will do their best to give us a cause and manner of death. But in this case, which is unlike any case I have ever seen or experienced here in the county, say it's disturbing is an understatement. It's horrifying. The allegations contained in the statement of charges is just heartbreaking. One of the things that I wanted to mention is that this is Elder Abuse Awareness Month. And it's important, I think, to note in this case that someone related to our victim was concerned enough about her whereabouts that they reached out to do a welfare check. And the Prince George's County Police Department is a wonderful resource, as well as all of our municipal departments. They do these welfare checks because of someone caring enough to reach out because our department was doing its job. We uncovered a horrific crime. And so our job now is to ensure that our victim gets justice, and that is what we're going to do. Jess Garth, who's the chief of our Special Victims and Family Violence Unit, I'm going to ask her to come up and talk a little bit about, some of the facts as we provided in court today for those of you who weren't there. So, Jess?
Over there and was like, grandma's missing, let's go check on her, because these two had her in a fucking bag still. They found a chainsaw. So we know one of the weapons was a fucking chainsaw. As much as I cover all of this, y'all, I always come to this place and I don't understand that point where you can just hurt someone in those ways. Like, I get in self-defense when you're just trying to save your life. There's a lot going on. Shit's going down. You're in panic mode. You're in survival mode. But the shit like this,
right?
The fuck? This hard to understand. Like, what were y'all thinking when you were just, what were y'all thinking? What were you doing? It's crazy.
Good afternoon. As the state's attorney said, somebody did come forward and contacted the police department and asked the police to do a welfare check. At the time that the officer arrived at the home, they were allowed to enter the home by one of the residents. In the basement, they uncovered the putrefying remains of the decedent in this case. They locked down the scene. They went and got a search warrant. And what they uncovered was, as the state's attorney said, one of the most disturbing crimes I think that this county has seen, at least, in recent times. It looks like there was some sort of a disagreement between Miss Craig and her mother, the decedent. Sounds like at that time she opted to take the life of her mother. And then after that, she and her daughter dismembered the body, I believe using a chainsaw, and then attempted to dispose of the parts of the body using fire on a grill and in a bonfire, according to the investigation so far. This is a case that's still under investigation. We do anticipate that we'll have additional facts that we develop along the way. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
Is there any guess as to how long she may have been died before the police were called?
I don't know. There is some indication that the fire department was called out on May 27th to investigate one of the fires that was being used to dispose of the body parts. But further than that, I can't say.
So at least almost like a week
Yeah.
Yes.
Ben, obviously, we've kind of gotten to recognize you a little bit because you've been involved with some pretty gruesome cases.
Unfortunately, so.
Yeah, some pretty unfortunate stuff. And up there, you kind of talked about how this is one of the worst that you've ever seen. Can
Yes.
you just add a little more context out here?
Sure. Well, I talk a lot about domestic violence, and often it's in the context of intimate partner violence, but family violence is, just as much a part of domestic violence. And in many ways, we're talking about people who, they are supposed to be protecting one another, caring for one another. When you're talking about your elderly parents as they get older, it's our duty as children to protect our parents. And certainly our duty to not murder them and then to dispose of them in such a gruesome way. When I think about this case, I think about how hard it is to actually dismember a human body. Some people have difficulty, even cooking food, dealing with things like raw chicken. And when you're thinking about a body and then burning it, it just it's very hard for me to think about, especially when you're talking about somebody who gave birth to you, who raised you. So yeah.
Is it safe to say you may never know how exactly she was killed?
As the state's attorney said, our medical examiner's office is going to do everything that they can do. It is possible that some of the evidence was destroyed, that we may need to determine the exact, way that she was taken from us. But I think it's safe to say that this case will be ruled a homicide.
Any update on the knife that was on the floor and then was missing when the police went back?
I don't have any particular details. I do know a search warrant was executed. They collected many, many different tools, and they'll be tested for DNA and for blood as well.
And we heard from Jess in court, but Madam State.
So, fire department went out there like at the end of May because they was barbecuing, and that barbecue was way too fucking inflamed. But didn't go any further than that. And then like a week later, then somebody's like, wait a minute, we ain't seen grandma, we ain't heard from grandma. Can y'all
Right.
go
And
check
then
her?
they're probably not going to be able to figure out how she died. Like, did they, stab her first? What did they do first? And then, I mean, it's obvious they were trying to, get rid of the pieces, the body, I guess, by burning it.
And you, at this moment, we don't know if like everything was burned. We don't know how burned. We know they attempted to burn her, but
Right.
weren't successful, of course, because then she'd be all burned and gone. It makes me
Mm-hmm.
sick just thinking about it. Like my stomach is turning thinking about
Mm-hmm.
it. Like, because what argument could you have had that's been like, you know what, bitch, I'm about to take you out? Like what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
Just stop dealing with your mom. You don't want to deal with her. You don't like her. Fucking
Leave.
guarantee it's about
Mm-hmm.
some money. It got to be about some money because money make people do some the damnedest things. Got to be money.
Which is so weird because it's her mother. You have your daughter doing it with you.
Right.
And like the detective said, cutting, we've seen, the movies, having to cut, through the bone and the, like,
Right.
so to have a bag of pieces and then you have the, her body on the grill trying to get rid of it by putting it on, like, it's just crazy.
This is why I be saying, like, y'all, people got to stop being so fucking down and loyal to people. Like, it's like, oh my God, maybe mom was like, I killed grandma, I need your help. Nah, you on your own.
Exactly.
You are on
Exactly.
your own. Do
Mm-hmm.
not fucking call me. Don't
Mm-hmm.
nobody call me because I'm not helping you. I'm not your accomplice. You ain't about to have
Mm-hmm.
my DNA in this bitch or my footprints.
It's
No.
true though. It's so true.
Like, no, now your daughter going to 19, going to fucking jail for however long. And they gonna try to put y'all underneath the
Yeah, I was
jail.
about to say forever.
They gonna put you
Forever. And they
underneath.
better hope it I don't where they at have the death penalty because that can definitely be
Right.
worthy of death penalty.
It looks like Maryland, right? I think it's Maryland. I don't know if they have the death penalty in Maryland, but
So they better hope they don't get that. Mm-hmm.
right. I just, I of course, definitely gonna keep following it to see because I want to know if they do. Because of course, with tests and stuff, they might be able to look at the skin if they find pieces that they can actually test to see how long she had been dead. But that's a lot of, a lot of shit, a lot of tests to kind of see. But to determine
Mm-hmm.
how she died first, depending on how her body is, y'all would have had to sever her fucking head off her body.
Right, because if there's pieces on a grill,
Right.
they had to have cut it to, to the point to fit
Right.
on a grill.
How fucking crazy are y'all to do that? I can't imagine trying to cut somebody fucking what?
Mm-hmm.
This shit crazy.
Attorney, is this the most gruesome murder that you've seen in your time?
I mean, absolutely. On so many different levels. The fact that this was a mother, there's, I don't believe I've had a case where a mother was killed by a daughter. And I certainly don't believe I've ever seen a case where a mother was not only killed by her daughter, but dismembered by her daughter and her granddaughter. So just the thought of people who are in your lineage, people who are supposed to be carrying on your legacy, being a part of your demise is almost unbelievable. And then not only but the death, but the dismemberment of the body being found in multiple bags, decaying in a home. I'm at a loss.
Were these slightly different subject? Can I just ask one more? Were these like trash bags, gym bags, like?
The information I have is that they were plastic bags, but I don't know the size at this time.
Some sort of trash bag type of thing.
I would imagine.
Okay.
And was this home the grandmother's home?
Yes.
Baby K. Let's dig on it a little more.
Yeah,
I learned that
sure.
he was on probation. The potentially at the time of the alleged attack on the bus thing in the district. Not registered in any school anywhere. It's also been determined. Should DJS have been supervising this child? The child is on probation. Should someone have been making sure he was kind of in school and living life?
You know, because
failure with DJS.
knew you were going to ask that question. I think it's fair to say I've had a number of conversations with DJS, and as late as Friday, I've been in contact with the new Secretary of Juvenile Services. I think that DJS is, in many cases, overwhelmed, just like other agencies, especially public safety agencies. But we all have to do better because our young people have to be in school. Those who are on probation actually have to be supervised. And if they are supposed to be participating in programs, then they have to be accountable for participating in those programs. I think that there's a lot of work to be done at DJS. I think and I've spoken to the governor personally about it, and he's committed to looking at resources that we need to add to our Department of Juvenile Services to ensure that the services that they do provide are actually meaningful to the people who they serve. A lot of the services are really controlled at the state level, but those of us on the ground know what our kids need, and if we could get more of those resources locally, I think we can make a better impact and have programs that will better meet the needs of our young people. But we have to hold them accountable. Oftentimes, what I hear is that DJS has done all that they could do for a child. Whether or not that child is successful in completing the program offered by DJS, then they will just discharge them, partially because of the new laws and the limitations on the amount of time that a child can be under the supervision of the Department of Juvenile Services. So I think in many ways, everyone has, I don't want to say failed, but everyone has probably gotten it wrong a little bit. So our state legislature, we're asking them to rethink and relook at some of the laws, especially the laws that speak to punishment or sanctions that a child can experience. Certainly rehabilitation is the goal of the juvenile justice system. And so we don't want to over-incarcerate kids, but some of our kids need more supervision, more structure, and some of them need to be confined for a period of time. And they actually have to show improvement. They just can't be discharged because the program timing has run out. You know, that's just not fair to the child. It's not fair to the community either. So there's a lot of work that we need to do. And DJS, I believe the new secretary knows that he has a lot of changes to make. So thanks. Thank you.
You're just listening into this press conference there out of Prince George's County. Certainly a disturbing, a horrifying story that was their quote there of this, as the mother and daughter charged with murder in the death of their grandparents. I want to put up the mugshots one more time here on Live Now from Fox and give you a little bit more detail on what we know from this. Of course, they were held there without bond as the 44-year-old Candace Craig with first degree, and her daughter also, Celia Hardy, charged with accessory after the fact. As authorities say, the mother and daughter have been charged in connection with murdering the family's grandmother inside their home. Officials, they believe Craig murdered the mother, Margaret Craig, on the 23rd of May inside their home in Landover, Maryland. Investigators say the following day, her daughter helped her mother attempt to dispose of the remains. Certainly very disgusting, horrifying details there. Officers were called to the home on the afternoon of June the 2nd for a welfare check on the grandmother and were allowed to search inside. Homicide and evidence units were notified and assumed the investigation after officers smelled the odor of decomposition. So certainly a very disturbing story.
This other one has the grandma.
A mother recruits her daughter after killing the daughter's grandmother. Candace Craig, 44 years of age, has been charged with first and second degree murder in connection to the death of 71-year-old Margaret Craig. Her daughter is 19. The 19-year-old, Celia Hardy, has been charged with accessory after the fact because authorities claimed she helped her mother attempt to dispose of the grandmother's remains. So sad. Police claim Candace allegedly murdered her mother on May 23rd, following an altercation, and then had her daughter dispose of the remains, which were reportedly being kept in a blue bin in her bedroom. While police were still working on identifying a motive, according to the press release, police responded to the family home in the 200 block of Hill Road about 1:35 p.m. This was on Friday after an unidentified 911 caller said they had not heard from Margaret Craig and were worried about her welfare. Candace Craig answered the door and allowed officers inside to search the home. When police entered the basement, they recognized the smell of putrefaction and observed blood tissue on the floor where 3 white plastic trash bags were located. The documents also revealed that police found a knife on the floor of the basement and recovered a chainsaw, cutting utensils, cleaning materials scattered nearby. They also found blood splattered throughout the basement. Candace Craig is charged with first-degree murder. Her daughter is charged with accessory. A preliminary hearing for Candace is scheduled on July 3rd. She's being held without bond. This is what you call a tragedy, beyond belief, beyond belief. I'm covering this story because, number one, I want you to check on folk that you know, okay? Check on them. The reason why there's some level of justice here is because somebody cared enough about the grandmother to not simply knock on the door, but to call 911 and say, I haven't heard from her. Can somebody check on her? This is not like her. Police did check, and they were able to find all of the incriminating evidence necessary to effect an arrest. Also, for young folk, I mentor a lot of young people. If somebody loves you, let me be very clear. If somebody loves you, truly loves you, and they do something horrible, they do something that's irrevocable, and they know they're going down, there's nothing anyone can do to take it back. If they love you, you are the last person they will call. All right, Jordan, thoughts here.
This is horrible. Thoughts go out to, surviving family members who are affected by this. And I don't know what would cause somebody to do this, but wish they would have gotten the help that they needed to prevent this from ever happening. It's really tragic.
I really want to know what happened. Like, I want to know the trial, but again, the trial's not going to be up until next month, so we'll have some time. We'll come back to this, y'all. Drop a comment though and let us know what you think about this. It's shit crazy.
It is, but like they were saying, with the daughter not being in school, the mom being on probation, so she probably have some kind of violent history or something, drugs, something, to where she was on probation, like the detective was saying, should have been in maybe some program or something, even with, the daughter not being in school.
Right.
And even like what he said, I mean, it's so true. If you love somebody, you would never put them in a position to where you now can take their future away. Just by even telling them, now you involved your daughter.
Right.
Like, you now made her part of this.
Right.
So
Right.
like, yeah, that's
For your daughter to just come over and start chopping up grandma, that's a whole nother level.
Mm-hmm. To even know that you can go to your daughter and know that she was gonna be the one to be okay and be like, okay, I got you. You know what I mean?
Right.
And do it. And
she looked like the grandma. You're gonna have to look in the mirror and see her face. This shit is crazy. Like I really don't have words for it. It's like you really don't know people. You think you do. You really don't know
I
people.
was just about to say that. Like it's so scary on that level because you know the grandmother, just imagine how she may have felt, because I mean, you don't think your child will murder your you know what I
Right.
mean, even if they were arguing or whatever, and even if they did argue much, I don't think she was probably, in fear or anything to where, family members didn't know or anything. So that must have been shocked as fuck, however she, murdered her. But
Right.
to know that you don't know somebody and you're not safe, not even with your own child, with your
Right.
own grandchild, with your own flesh and blood, that you're not safe, that someone can just like you said, a snap, take your life.
And just be like, no more you.
And then like trash, cutting her up, putting, the pieces in a garbage bag. Like, this is still your mother, this is still, you know what I mean, like, you
Y'all
guys
just living life, do what you do. Like I'll
right. And
come
then,
back to it.
got her sitting in buckets in the house to the
Right.
point where they smelled it. So y'all going through every day like nothing never happened, while
Right.
pieces of your mother and your grandmother is sitting in the same place you're in.
Right.
Like, yeah, that's some other mental shit going on right there, because as a person, that even if you snapped, by then you should have came to your senses to know you fucked that up.
Right. Well, I mean, she did open the door with like nothing. I mean, just yeah, sure, come on in with the decaying body downstairs.
Right.
Like they
Even
weren't gonna
her,
smell
the
that shit.
smell, just living in there with the smell, with,
Right.
like I said, just carrying on like every day, not realizing you just murdered your mother, you just cut up your grandmother, and
Right.
she's sitting, in the house with you, and you guys are just carrying on like every day. They didn't try to leave. They didn't, they didn't,
No, they didn't
nothing.
flee. They didn't go to another state.
Right.
We gonna we gonna hang out in grandma's house.
And try to grill her and try to get rid of I guess, the body in that sense. So what, every day they were gonna try to grill, when they noticed that didn't work the first time, when
Right.
when the fire department came out, they probably figured, yeah, we're not gonna be able to grill the
No.
body parts, because they still had buckets of the parts still in
Y'all
the house.
watching too many movies and think you just gonna cut up a body, throw it on the grill, throw some gasoline on that bitch, and then it's gonna be ashes. That is not how it works.
Right.
If you don't know, when they cremate a body, that body is there for a while.
And that temperature is
Right.
different. That's a different type of temperature.
You're not getting that on the grill.
Right, exactly. Some
That's why the fire
charcoal and
department
lighter
came.
fluid ain't gonna do it.
That's why the fire department came, because y'all over here fucking setting shit on fire, trying to burn grandma up in the backyard.
Burning flesh, like you grilling flesh.
Can you imagine the smell of that shit? Because that's a different type of smell. That ain't chicken on the grill. That ain't fucking ribs on the
Yeah,
grill.
the smoke probably was so different. That's probably why the fire department was called out. The smoke probably was different. The smell was different. People probably knew this ain't this ain't no regular grilling, having a picnic.
No. Just even looking at them though, my stomach turns, y'all. That's a different type of, and we've talked about evil and we've talked about stuff like that on these shows. And to me, it shows, I don't think that it's just people that are evil. I do feel like it's definitely like maybe she was shown that from her mom, because from the looks of it, like the apple sure didn't fall too far from the fucking tree with that one.
Mm-hmm.
But damn, how fucking how cold do you gotta be, you know,
Right.
to kill your mom and then or your grandma and just be okay with it? Like, again, like, was this lady a bitch? We don't hear nobody. I need some testimony. Was this lady crazy? You know? But even if she was, you would have just called. It would have been self-defense or nothing. You wouldn't have been chopping up her fucking body.
Right, taking it to that extreme, exactly. Even if you would have fought and she would have fell and hurt herself and, died, she's older, you would have called and said something. You're not gonna chop up
Right.
her body and try to grill it. And yeah, that's a whole nother level of some other shit going on.
Girl, y'all leave us a comment below. Is there anything grandma could do that that would have you helping chop grandma up and put her on the barbecue? I don't think there's any. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't leave people alone. Like, you want to be an ugly person, I'm gonna just leave your ass alone. I'm not gonna cut you up. What the fuck? I don't think there's anything grandma could do to get me to that point where I want to dismember her up. And because all I could think about is once you start chopping limbs off, you gotta cut her fucking head off her body. Like,
and now you going through bones and all, yeah.
Blood all over the fucking place. You know how much blood is in a body? And once you start cutting, that shit starts coming out. That shit is like, that is going to give you nightmares for the rest of your fucking life, unless you are just one cold-hearted person.
Right, that's what I'm saying. For them to still be in the house with the body parts, and
like
it
nothing.
don't, like, every time you walk by, you don't like, yeah, that's some other shit.
There's war vets that have nightmares and shit. They have PTSD and trauma from the shit that they've seen in war, and they were in war. And you got these two over here just cooking grandma in the fucking backyard and shit like nothing. Like, damn, how dehumanized do you gotta fucking be?
Right.
And it's like, I really want to know. I'm definitely gonna look up the trial, you guys, and we'll come back to it later because I want to know her reasoning. Like, what the fuck was your reason?
Right.
What?
Want to see what the daughter has to say. Like, what? Because she's younger, she may say, you know what I mean? Like, I want to know the type of relationship they had, even all three of them. Just I don't know. To that, yeah, that.
That shit's crazy.